Hi guys, Mike back again with another storage solution video. Been meaning to do this for ages, this video, and I finally got around to it. Basically, I needed my table back. Those of you that have watched the previous other two videos will know that I've been doing HMS Victory for a couple of months now, and it takes up my entire hobby table. So I've done some HMS Victory, those of you that have watched that, built the Millennium Falcon up to issue 73, and that's on the previous vid. And now what I want to do is create a storage solution for Elder Sign. This is a game of suspense and supernatural investigation by Fantasy Flight Games. It's spawned from Richard Lanius and Arkham Horror. Sorry, I couldn't even think of the name then. And it's written there. Arkham Horror, I suppose people will be familiar with. There's a spin-off game of Arkham Horror called Eldritch Horror, which takes you all over the world, as opposed to just being restricted to Arkham. Elder Sign is like Arkham Horror Light. I mean, that's a very simplistic way of describing the game. But it gives you the theme of Arkham Horror, gives you the monsters, the great old ones, the investigators, the idea, but not the hours of setup and the hours of gameplay. So basically, it's card driven, dice driven. You explore, you need to solve mysteries, and as you solve mysteries, you then collect tokens. You collect elder signs to defeat great old ones, which are the old gods, I suppose, of who came to Earth and who are waiting to take over. So Elder Sign I've been storing quite nicely up until recently. This is the core game box, and up until recently I was storing it in this box. It's a bit of a mess, isn't it? So I glued in some foam core into the core box, was keeping my cards in here and some other tokens in here, and then basically I had a Plano box type box that fit in there, and I was keeping all my tokens and stuff in there. Right, lovely. So that's where we were. Elder Sign recently have been releasing expansions for the game, and after the first expansion was released, that was called Unseen Forces, which gave you more cards, more investigators, more great old ones, etc., more tokens, more everything basically. That all still fit in my storage solution. Then they started releasing other expansions. So we had the Gates of Arkham, which is a standalone game in its own right, but does need the core game to play it, and I'll explain that in a second. And then recently they released Omens of Ice. Again, standalone game, but you need the core game to play it. Why you need the core game to play it is because you get all of this stuff. These are the tokens and cards from all of the expansions. We've also had another expansion called Grave Consequences, which was a print-on-demand card set that came out. It was a tenner, which introduced some new mechanics to the game. So that's that. So these are all of the cards, all of the tokens and dice from all the core game and the 4 expansions, basically. So these standalone games, Gates of Arkham and Omens of Ice, you need the clock. So you get the clock in the core game. The clock, you need to keep track of your time because bad things happen at midnight generally in this game. So you need the clock. You need the dice, so we'll take away the black and the white dice because that's an expansion. But you get the green dice and you get the red and the yellow dice. You get the black and the white dice with the Unseen Forces expansion, which introduces a new mechanic. And then basically you've got all this other stuff. So we'll just have a look. So these are your basic cards. These are your kind of investigation cards. So you need to solve these mysteries. So you set them up, and then you roll dice basically to solve these mysteries. So for example, to solve this mystery, you'd need to roll 6 investigations. And to solve this mystery, you need to roll a scroll and 3 investigations. And I'll just show you how that works briefly. So on the dice, you've got 1 investigation, 2 investigation, 3 investigation, a skull, a scroll, and a squiggle, a terror, that's called. So to solve that previous mystery, you'd need to roll investigations, for example. Let's get some focus. You'd need to roll investigations totaling 6, for example. So if you rolled all of the green dice there, and you rolled 2 of these, or 3 with 2s, you know, so any kind of combination to roll 6 investigations, and you'd solve that mystery effectively. So that's the base game effectively, and unseen forces. Then you need the dice, you need the clock, and then you've got all your monster chits as well. You could draw a monster, and then a monster has elements you need to roll to defeat the monster. So you need all the monsters. So then Gates of Arkham introduce a stack of new cards. When you play Gates of Arkham, you don't use any of these cards, you use all of these cards instead. And when you play Omens of Ice, you use all of these cards instead of these cards. All games include Other World cards, because the Other World exists wherever you are, wherever you play. And then we've got Great Old Ones, which are the monsters to try and defeat. And we've got a pile of Investigators, which are your standard Arkham Horror investigators that span Arkham Horror, Eldritch Horror, this game. I mean, you know. And then we've got various other cards, small cards. We've got Mythos cards and spells and items, common items, unique items, allies, blessed and cursed cards. Then we've got some other expansion cards. We've got skill cards and event cards and more Mythos cards. But these Mythos cards are particular to an expansion. And then we've got, I can't remember what these cards are called, but we've got phobia cards and epic battle cards. And I'm not sure what these cards are called. Nope, not sure. Anyway, so, and we've got loads of tokens. We've got our little tokens for our investigators, Elder Signs, Stamina and Sanity, Doomtrack tokens, Clue tokens, specific monster tokens, gate tokens, closed gate tokens or sealed tokens. And we've got some other weather tokens here that are pertinent to the Omens of Ice expansion up there. So it's a lot of stuff to contend with, a lot of stuff to organise. It doesn't all fit in the core game box. I could keep Omens of Ice in its own box and Gates of Arkham in its own box, but I like to have everything in the same box, so it's easy to transport. Now, while I've been doing this video, you've probably noticed this wooden box up here, and this is how I'm going to store it basically. So I bought this wooden box off eBay, and again, I like a wooden box. I think it's quite thematic. I think it's sort of, you know, H.P. Lovecraftian, Cthulhu-esque. You know, the mysteries of what's in the wooden box. So yeah, it was cheap. It was like 8-9 quid or something. So we've got the wooden box. Inside the wooden box, I've just put a little base down just to protect the cards, you know, so it's on a nice cardboard base. I've used poster board, just regular poster board for that as the base, just brown because that's what I had. And then I've made some sides with foam core, and those of you will have watched my previous vids will know that it's this stuff, 5mm foam core. These are just offcuts that I might be using. So there's that. And so I've basically created a tray within this wooden box. What I'm going to do now is work out how all of this is going to fit in some sensible order into this, with the lid being able to be closed. So I can store all of my Elder Sign game in this one box. So that's it for this section. I'll catch you in a sec. Okay guys, we're back again and we've done a little bit of work. The table is covered with foam core and cardboard and bits and bobs. So I have done a 101, like a foam core 101 type video of how to do this sort of stuff. Really easy to do. All you need is foam core and a base, or if you want to use foam core as the base, but you know, that's fine. You can do what you want, but just the foam core obviously is 5mm thick, and the foam board and the cardboard is less. So depends how thick your base is and how much space you've got. Anyway, other than that, all you need is a steel ruler, you know, metal ruler, so you don't cut into a plastic one and make your cuts all wonky, and a pencil and a sharp knife with a brand new blade, so you can cut easily through the foam core and get nice clean cuts. This is what we're looking like though. This is it so far. I half thought about having the cards laid flat within the case, sort of, for example, things like kind of like that. Decided against that because it's going to be a pain to kind of get cards out, to pick cards out of the box. So I've just gone for cards up on their end. So this is all of the cards. I mean, and it's compressed and compact into a much smaller area, which is good. So all of the cards are here, so you can sort of see the color changes through the cards. So we've got our base game cards, our Gates of Arkham cards, Omens of Ice, Otherworld, Great Old Ones, and Investigators, all secured. I've just put this in. This is a really tight fit, but I've just left that loose so I can expand, you know, the channel if more expansions, or well, when more expansions come out. Just kept the clock in there, fits nicely, and the little bag for the Monster Cup fits nicely in there. What I'll do is just make some dividers, because we've got a recessed lid, so we've got another, what have we got, a good inch there. What have we got? Yeah, just under an inch of box lid to go up into as well. So what I'll do is make some dividers just at the back of these, you know, my old, you know, you've all seen them, you've all seen my sort of dividers. So I'll make some dividers just so I can, you know, access or identify the cards easily. I've made another channel here for all the small cards. And again, these are all, you know, so I mean, there's loads, there's hundreds of small cards. So what I'll do, again, just get them in there. So they'll all stack in order, you know, Mythos cards and skill cards and whatever cards. And I'll make some dividers, and I've got plenty of space there. This channel here, I'm not sure yet. I'm sort of still deciding what I'm doing. We've got lots and lots of monster tokens. These are lots of monster tokens. So I might just use this channel. Use this channel as a sort of dumping ground for monster tokens. I might cut it in half and have like an area for monster tokens, an area for investigator tokens, because we've got loads of those, and then maybe a thing for dice. So we'll have monster tokens, investigator tokens, and dice maybe in here. And I've cut this piece of cardboard, which is going to go here. I'm going to make another tray that will, you know, that will fit in this box basically, or fit in the height of the box, just for all the other, you know, other tokens effectively, because that can be by the table side, because we need tokens at all times. All of the monster tokens go in the Monster Cup, so I don't need to keep going back to the box for the monsters, so they all go in the Monster Cup anyway. And the investigators will have been chosen before the game starts, as will all the cards. So all I'll need at the table side is this tray with all of my other sort of tokens in there. So that's it. So yeah, I'll come back to you once it's all pretty much finished, I think. So I'll catch you in a sec. Hi guys, and we're back again, and it's done basically. So this is it. So here we go. Yeah, like I said, the box was already done and stained when I bought it, and basically I've just altered the inside, I suppose. So first we've done, put a little barrier bar thing up here, just made out of foam core, just a couple of blocks with a long strip that fits the width of the box lid, so we can keep all our instructions in there, and they're just held in nicely. So that's pretty cool. I like that. Like I said, we decided to store the cards, you know, in this orientation just because it was easier. So I've made some little dividers. So when we want to find out investigators, so I printed this out on sort of card, sort of a nice effect card, and just written what it's dividing basically. So yeah, we've got investigator cards, ancient one cards, adventure cards for Otherworld, regular adventure cards, Gates of Arkham, and Omens of Ice. So that's all three expansions, or all three, you know, main sets, filed away nicely. This, like I said, this is loose, but tight enough that it holds the cards in, but I can move that and expand it as necessary. Clock and the bag going in there for now, and then we've made a tray, little tray for all the counters and tokens. So we've got our weather tokens for an expansion, sanity and stamina, elder signs, clues, some little stands for our gates. These are some specific tokens for Omens of Ice. These are tokens to represent the ceiling gates, Doomtrack tokens, and then we've got some monster tokens here that are specific to certain old ones. So again, I'm not sure which old ones they are specific to. The top ones up there aren't specific to a certain old one, but they're thematically more suited to one, so I wanted to separate those out. So that's it. So that's a removable tray I can have next to me when I'm playing, with all my tokens in there that are nicely organized. And then in the under section, again, none of this is removable. But again, I'll be setting the game up and playing the game and then just putting it all back. Done exactly the same thing with the small cards. So we split out the Mythos cards and our Grave Consequence cards, and then just filed our common and unique items, spell cards, ally cards, skills events, blessed and cursed. And these are just, again, this is just loose but tight enough to hold the cards in place for now. And then just the instructions for Grave Consequences just can go there because they fit, just so you can see. And then these sections here, again, these are just all our investigator shits. Don't need access to them in the game, so they can just stay in there, and I'll just pick the ones I want you to play with. And again, it's quite good to have a quite a big vessel because there's quite a few now to pick through. These are all the regular monster tokens, and again, they get put into the bag when you set up, so they don't need to be filed away particularly, they just need a space to live. And then last but not least, a little space for our dice, and that's it. All files away nicely, a little tray just goes on top, and job done. Still room in there for some expansions if and when they come out, and that was a good little couple of hours work. I quite enjoy making these things. Anyway, that's it for me for now, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers, guys.